I'm very excited about what's happening along Broadway. And if you picture in your mind Vancouver now, the Broadway corridor will soon be Vancouver's second downtown. So, like many major cities, you'll have this is an expansion of our downtown. And if you think about what this corridor represents, it's something like 100,000 jobs in the region, many biotech tech jobs. Many you think of the hospital, and then the out to the one of the best universities in the world. It's a very important corridor. Very glad that the Broadway line is now under construction from commercial to or from BCC Clark to Arbutus, with the tunneling machine I think going into the ground early next year. I've been really pushing, and we'll have a decision sometime in the next few months as to whether the Mayor's Council will approve the extension all the way to UBC. And that's been a core thing I've been working on, and I feel very good that that will come with hopefully have that line completed by 2030. That's the idea, is that we could get this all built. So your question is about what happens to people living along that corridor, and that is a core to me. As you say, 25% of the entire population of the city that rents lives in that area, and so for me, we have to have the toughest rental protections in the country before we move ahead with that plan. So we do have some very strong rental protections now, and I started working on this right after I was elected. I went to the Board of Trade and I had my very first State of the City address, and I told them that displacement is a word that we'll no longer tolerate here in the city. For too long, there were apartment buildings that people were living in that were being torn down, and then we were getting high-rise condos that nobody could afford to live in. At the same time, there was really no compensation for people who might have lived for decades in these buildings. So right away, our council brought in a very strong relocation policy that if with long-term tenants receiving tens of thousands of dollars in compensation if they were evicted during a demolition, but at the same time limiting those to what was already in the housing pipeline that we had no control over as a council. However, I don't think those protections, although they're very strong, I don't think they're enough, and I will be incorporating more, or asking council to incorporate more in this Broadway plan. So in the end, what I'm looking to do is to lead the way in Canada and put the strongest rental protections in place along this corridor. And this is the first major plan that this council is looking to approve in our 4 years. It's a very big plan. It's 500 square blocks of some of the most important blocks in the country, and if not North America. But we have to make sure that renters will be able to stay there, and when their buildings age out, many of them are very old, that we would have policies in place that they would not be forced out of their neighborhoods. That is absolute key here. So in terms of height around the transit stations, the proposal now is to go up to 40 stories in many locations, which I think is proper. We can't expect senior governments to put billions of dollars in the transit infrastructure and then not to densify around these areas. So that is important. And we also have to allow for density in other areas that provides enough flexibility for us to offer deeply affordable housing units. It would be great if the federal provincial governments had enough money to invest to provide government housing for tens of thousands of people, but the way it is now is we have to work with the market providers. And that's just the cold hard reality of what we do here in the city. And but we have to bend the market as much as we can to get as much affordability as we can. So I do think that this corridor will be a place that people will want to live and want to work, and it'll be one of the best places to learn in the world. So it'll be a very attractive, very great place to live if we get it right. We have to be bold, and I think at this point this plan is getting there, but maybe we have to do more. So anyway, we'll be deciding that over the coming months. But I would encourage folks to participate in this as well, to let council, your views be known to council, and but believe me, I'll be pushing for everything we can get along here, because it is a decision that will be with us for centuries, so we have to get it right.